Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Neptune Sextile or trine one's natal south node. Now, this transit could manifest in dreams, inspiration, idealism, sacrificing, fantasizing. This could be in harmony with what you're going away from, your past, what you're leaving behind. And I'm going to elaborate and expound on that, what it is that you may have more inspiration than you ordinarily would to leave things behind, to put things in the past. If you've been somewhat stagnant in these matters and there's been something that's been affecting you to your detriment, if you have a South Node and Capricorn in the fourth house, it could be a depressive or limiting home situation, or maybe there's somebody that's very melancholy that you're close to home with, and it's something where you might be more apt to leave it behind. You're talking about a positive aspect. It's a good relationship, an aspect from Neptune to the South Node. Sextiles and trines can be very flowing. Aspects are very positive, and it's about having really at this time as well people that were prominent in your past. You may have just that right amount of idealism and them not having unrealistic, unattainable expectations as far as these people go, but ones I would say would be realistic, and you're more inclined to overlook, the transgressions of them. Not to the point where you're completely oblivious to them, but you're more likely to accentuate and emphasize the positive traits and attributes in those people, as opposed, in contrast to the negative ones. So this could be a time as well when you have this transit. If you have any dreams, or fantasizing, the dreams could be literal dreams, or they could be ones that you're just simply, it's tied in with what you're fantasizing. Where, if you're trying to get away from something and leave something behind, and you just felt like you couldn't do it, well, this is the time where you might feel more hope and inspiration in doing so. It could also be a time where you may feel more like sacrificing for those people that are prominent in your past. It could be somebody that may have been prominent in your early childhood. I would say, especially if your natal south node falls in the first house. If the natal south node falls in the third house, that could be somebody that may have been prominent in your early education. It could have been somebody in grade, middle, or high school, as examples. This could be a time as well when this transit takes place. If you've been, Neptune is about imprisonment and incarceration. It could be, a figurative imprisonment that you may have had, whether you've isolated yourself just literally, or you've confined yourself, to a certain situation, imprison yourself to a certain situation in your life. This could be that time where it can be an auspicious time to get away from that situation more so than usual. Um, the thing about this is as well, uh, when you look at the South Node is also connected with overdeveloped and redundant qualities. If you have your natal South Node in Aquarius, say, it could be exceptionally idiosyncratic or non-conforming, even very rebellious behavior. And this could be the time where you may feel more apt, where you can get away from that, or having the idealism, being able to, being inspired to deal with that negative energy more, and even things that are positive, with the South Node, because the South Node can also reflect, what we're naturally proficient in. I have my natal South Node in Virgo in the fifth house. So, I could be very good at, like, say, extrapolating sports data, projecting the stats for sports people. It could be things that are, analytical, intellectual amusement or enjoyment, like chess or playing haiku. I wouldn't say I'm really, exceptional at chess. I haven't played it in some years, but it's something that I really, I had been, I really enjoy and thrive on. And so I'm just pointing it out as, throwing that out arbitrarily as an example. But the thing about it is, when you look at this transit as well, it could also be a time where, let's say, Neptunian people or Neptune-related people can be more beneficial to you in terms of what you're trying to get away from. If you have your natal south node in Aries, say, it could be very acrimonious energy. If the natal south node is in Aries in the 7th house, as an example, it could be getting away from an acrimonious or contentious relationship. It could be a situation with a significant other. It could be a legal situation where, which might be more contentious. Maybe there's a way you may be able to end it, at this time, or at least have that inspiration and hope regarding ending it at this point in time. And also to, when you have, this transit as well, again, going back to the fact that the south node can actually be associated with what you're naturally proficient in. It could be having more inspiration to do those things at this point in time. And it's a time as well where you can, it's about sacrifice. I mean, Neptune is about sacrificing, and it's a time where you might have to, if you have to sacrifice your time a little bit more to get out of an adverse situation, or to do something, with somebody, that's from, that was prominent in your past. This could be that time where you have more of that opportunity to do so, more so than usual. It could also be, as well, if you're somebody that's spiritual, especially, spirituality, may help you in terms of getting away, from the negative energy of the south node. And the south node is not, I wouldn't say it's confined to just, the negative attributes of the person, but it could be a situation, like the south node, in the 11th house, might be some situation with friends, or there's some, groups, clubs, or organizations that may be to your detriment, as some examples. Or if it's in the 10th house, it could be somebody, involved in your career, that's been that perennial thorn in the side, or somebody that has adversely affected, your reputation to its detriment, as some examples. And the thing about this is, and again, going back to the south node being what can be connected with what can affect you to your detriment, it can be a time, and Neptune is about escaping. So it can be about escaping, and even if you have to find some kind of isolation or solitude or seclusion to deal, with the negative energy of the south node, to be able to, figure out what you're going to do, and trying to leave it behind the best you can. The thing about it is, and I've talked about this in previous videos, at the south node, you don't necessarily have to eradicate the energy completely. You can incorporate that with the, the north node energy to some degree, but the north node is what you're supposed to be, emphasizing and accentuating. So anyway, the thing about this is, well, first I want to get to another way this transit could manifest. It could be about having that inspiration, which is Neptune. Again, to leave behind, which is the south node, something that may be affecting you to your detriment. And let's say if the natal south node is in Capricorn in the 9th house, as an example, it could be very negative or pessimistic, which is Capricorn, a belief or philosophy, which is the 9th house, or it could be a very melancholy or despondent in-law or grandchild that might be just having a very depressive, very negative impact on you, as some examples. But a little bit too early. I was going to get my drink, but I messed up a little. I'm going to wait about another minute for that. Sorry about that, people. But anyway, what I want to say as well is that if we go another way this transit could be expressed, it could be about dreams, which is Neptune. to get away from, what's preventing you, going away from, which is the south, preventing you from your destiny and your future, which would be the north. That would be the north node, of course. But let's say, for example, if the natal south node is in Libra in the sixth house, it could be, being overly people appeasing, and which is Libra, and in work, in your place of employment, which is the sixth house. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back, but anyway. And the thing about it is, too, another way this transit could be expressed, it could be that Neptune-related people. When I say Neptune-related people, I'm talking about people that could be in Neptune professions, or it could be people, other people associated with the planet Neptune, such as the less fortunate, which would include the homeless, oppressed, hungry, impoverished. And those people may be in harmony and agreement with what you're naturally proficient in, which is the south node. Let's say, for example, if the natal south node is in Pisces in the 11th house, it could be really just basically seeing the whole picture, which is Pisces in your friends, which is the 11th house. And also, too, it could be a very positive time to escape, which is Neptune, to the past, which is the south node. If the south node is in Sagittarius in the third house, it could be maybe people that were adventurous, which is Sagittarius. It could be people that were prominent in your early education, or neighbors, maybe that were from your past, or doing things with siblings and cousins from the past that could be adventurous, or even something sports related. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.